Good evening. It's 12:03. It's time for chatting with the pastor. I am Isaac David Brigman, the pastor of the Christian Hearts Christian Fellowship online ministry. Today we're going to link a bunch of things together. We're going to go in. Now, you wonder, how does Cobra Commando and Going Commando have anything to do with each other? Well, I'm going to tell you today how that they're affected by each other. Today is, let's see, what's today's date? I think it's the 22nd of May 2019, and the time is 12:04. So, how this is all linked up? What I'll do is I'm gonna start a thing where I give some from the heart conversations. I give subjects and tell you how they're linked together or how they have anything to do with anything, and just random stuff. It's a random talk show that I do. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk about, Cobra Commander, how that is. You know, all y'all thinking, oh, a G.I. Joe reference. What's up with that? Well, Cobra, snake. What does the Bible say about snakes? The devil, the serpent. So, the commander of the Cobra is the Almighty Devil. The Almighty God, on the other hand. Now, when you say Almighty, you're thinking, oh no, he's going to say he worships the devil. No, I'm saying the master of evil. When I say Almighty Devil, I mean he is the great leader of evil, and God is the great leader of all things good. And what I'm saying is, with the Cobra, they strike like crazy. And the devil strikes like crazy too, when you think about it. He struck at a lot of people during all these disasters and all these here problems. And we say to ourselves that when a thing in history has come and gone, it won't come back again. But we hadn't realized that we've been through some holocausts. We've been through some world wars, not realizing that we had. Like a man can go through a world war, come out unscathed. Now, when you say a world war, times I take a pause, and what I'm doing, a short pause, it's because I'm drinking some coffee. Yes, I am a jack of all trades, internet minister who was called by God to stick his hand in many things to do with ministry, and I also am addicted to coffee. I'm as bad about coffee as a wino is booze, or a dopey is on dope. Excuse my language. You're not going to get nowhere on drugs. But if you have a happy habit or a safe habit, you're better off. But anyhow, where I'm going with this today is that we're talking about the devil has, if you think about it, everybody says we're not going through another Holocaust. We're not going to go through another world war. We're not going to go through another civil war. Have you ever thought about world wars and civil wars can be the same thing if you think about where I'm coming from. I'm coming from the world of, yes, a world war and a civil war can be, you have two worlds colliding together in a battle to see who's better than who. And a civil war can mean people of the same kind fighting each other over something stupid. So in that sense, that could mean that they all could be added up to, you add a world war with a civil war. In today's world, you might get a family war, a family feud that has nothing to do with the TV show. It has a lot to do with heaven and hell, has a lot to do with respect or disrespect. It has a lot to do with honor or dishonoring. I never said that I are God or I and our God ever agreed that if someone don't honor you, that it's okay to disrespect them. Or that while you're honoring people, that they're going to honor you. And I didn't say honor them by kissing tail. Excuse my language, kissing their butt. I said, God said to honor people by being respectful to them tenfold. Meaning, if you get disrespected by somebody, don't feel like disrespect fixes disrespect. Disrespect does not fix disrespect. All it does is breed more disrespect. And it gets louder. Like if you got a mom or a dad or a cousin or anybody in your family that disrespects you, don't go out there thinking that you can just say, well, if they disrespect me, I'll disrespect them. Because all that breeds is more disrespect. And it gets louder and louder, that disrespect. And then one day it just explodes, and then everybody's like at odds with each other. You might look at me like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know more about it than you realize I do. Y'all didn't bother to ask me no questions. And I'm going to tell you something. God believes the same thing I do. If you're a man, woman, or child, if you do any type of artwork, and your artwork happens to look a little out there, don't take that as in you don't know what you're doing. Because if you really look in the art world, you'll find out your artwork has a lot to do with... See, there's people in this world that believe if a man does artwork or a woman does artwork, if it don't look perfect, it's messed up. Like when you get that foam sheets and you cut the foam sheets that have, in colors and shapes, even though it may look a certain way, it's abstract art. There is such a thing as abstract religious art, meaning you could take the strips, cut them out, and put them together and make a cross. When you do that, it don't have to be perfect. Do it the way God told you to do it. It may come out being like abstract art, but it's art still. It proves that you love the cross so much. And I'm trying to tell y'all, folks, I'm sick and tired of people saying, well, every time a man gives a speech or a lesson and he means well, that if he didn't say it a certain way, then he's wrong. Or if he didn't say it a certain way, he's trying to say something he didn't say or whatever. No. If I was trying to do that, I'd just do it. And that's the thing I get tired of. Y'all don't want to sit there and tell me what I said and didn't say, and didn't bother to ask me what I actually said. Y'all know y'all want to do that every day and night because y'all think if y'all can get me to look dumb, me meaning any me out there, like John, whoever can be a me, Larry, whoever can be a me, and each me you meet, you think you can disgrace them by making them look dumb, and then they will shut up what they're doing because did you know if a man speaks of God and you try to disgrace them, even if you succeed or not, that doesn't mean that he has to stop speaking what God told him to speak. He has to do it more so than he ever did before because of that exact reason. And now you say, well, where does the commando part come in about going commando? Well, God did say to spiritually be like Adam and Eve was in the beginning of time. Adam and Eve was butt naked, or naked, however you want to say it, or nude, or whatever your preference is to say it kindly. You have no clothes on, you're naked or naked, or however you want to say it, as long as you're not cussing. Or in the buff, or any way you want to say it, birthday suit, whatever. Anyway, let's just go past that. Okay, so what you're saying right now is that you're a man, you're a woman. Correct. But while being this man and woman, you're supposed to be spiritually unclothed, like naked, nude, however you want to put it. And you're supposed to basically be able to be a man or a woman that just says, freak it. Excuse my language. Whatever. I got to be me. I got to be the person that God called me to be. I can't be the person that some dude wanted me to be, because if I'm like that dude wants me to be, I'm not being me. I'm not being the me I can be. I'll be me, but I'll be the wrong me. I won't be the right me. So to do this, you have to take and say, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm going to take, and I won't have nothing on me that would hinder me from being a Christian. So I'm getting spiritually naked in the sense of I won't have any kind of hindrances on me to put me in a bad way. Okay, so if you do this and do it to God's speculations, you pretty much are telling the world that whatever God is wanting you to do, you're going to do it. Whatever the Bible says to do, you're going to do it. Whatever heaven says to do, you're going to do it. You're laying off all these different layers of spiritual clothing because they're weighting you down. They're smothering the ability to be open and free and let the spiritual air blow on you. And that's in another sense. God says, be you, but be the blank you. The blank you is a you that has nothing on them. Nothing. It's like you're just a blank canvas and there's nothing painted on there yet. God wants to paint the picture of the person you can be and the person you should be. So in order to let God be like your Bob Ross, which I kind of think in my own way that Bob Ross was a closeted Christian. I don't mean closeted as in it wasn't known he was a Christian. It just means he never confessed it, because I feel like with his kind-hearted ways, come on, it proves something. But I could be wrong. But beyond that being said, I'm going to tell you a story. Okay. God says you're supposed to be a blank canvas, have nothing on you, and he paints the picture of what you can be through him. And when you let him do that, then you see your life becoming better than what it was and what it could have been. And the thing is that that's why we say go commando spiritually, because it means don't have no clothes on you in a metaphorical sense that would keep you from being able to be touched by God. And see, that's the thing. We can sit there and a lot of people can be touched by people physically and never say a word about it, But we can be touched by God and freak out like someone tried to rape us. And what gets me is that why are we doing this? Why are we sitting there arguing about these things when all we got to do is say, look, God is touching us spiritually and he's trying to get us to be good people. So we don't molest other people, which is physical touch the wrong way. And I'm thinking, where does this come in at? Well, you're a grown man. You're a freaking grown man. And you're sitting there acting like, oh, I'm a grown man or woman. So if I touch somebody and they don't want me touching them, I just molested them. But that don't mean nothing. That truthfully don't mean nothing. So in other words, if it don't mean nothing, then it don't mean nothing. But God touched you, oh my goodness, he might as well have molested you himself. And you're like, God don't molest. Never has, never will. And you getting the wrong idea about it all. I love you people, but y'all got to stop this mess. Y'all got to know A to Z about what's going on in life. And you got to learn. Don't go off running around like you're crazy in the head. I'm sorry. But you people have lost your mind when you go off half-cocked saying that every time a man says something about God, he's wrong. Or if he uses metaphors, then he's wrong. Wasn't it parables and metaphors God used and Jesus used them when they were talking to us? They used things in life that would reach us and teach us about them. Yes, they did. So to go commando would mean get off all the layers of garment in the spiritual world that would weight us down, keep us down, hold us down from being able to talk to God. We don't need no oppression. We don't need no obsession that would turn us away from the great obsession we should have over God and Jesus. Be so obsessed with God and Jesus that we'll do anything for God and Jesus. If God said to go talk to a man next door or a woman or anybody in the world, yes, you'll be scared of it. And yes, there are times that God says, hey, hold on. I don't want you dealing with that person, or I want you to deal with this one. I'm not saying who I'm supposed to talk to or not. That's on God's head to do it. And you know, God don't mind having that responsibility. But you know good and well, I'm not trying to be a jerk or an ugly man. I'm saying God loves you as much as I love you, probably more. And we got to understand we can't live a life of, well, this is what is going on or not going on. I've seen kings, queens, prime ministers, presidents, and every other kind of dictator looking at people like us like we're stupid. I've heard of people in other countries moving to America just because they loved our hospitality and they wanted to be soaking in that hospitality, just doing it like, okay, excuse me for that. That was a very bad thing to say and or do, but what I'm going to tell y'all right now is this. There are people in England right now moving to America because we have an attitude that people love. You know, there is a thing called mixed attitudes in this country. There's the good one and the bad one. When some of the people in other countries get a hold of our good attitude and they see how friendly some of the good Americans can be, they look at it like, wow, them friendly Americans are really doing it the way I appreciate. Because a lot of times people don't understand that you can be the straightest guy in the world, you can be married to the straightest woman in the world, have the straightest kids in the world, have no gayness in your life, and you still respect a person that would hug you for the right reason. Basically, where you feel like when a person hugged you, God was hugging you, and you liked it. And you said, this, if there's a world out there that does that to you, then you want to be a part of that world. And that's why a lot of people moved from one country to another, because they found out that one country had something going on they didn't. People from England moving to America, I've heard one of the reasons was because there are some Americans who extrude a form of hospitality that those people in England loved. I never understood why there was a lot of people from other countries, like in England, who were actors and who were singers, why they moved to America. And when they got interviewed, a lot of them were coming up with these answers as in they had a taste of the hospitality that comes from some Americans, and they said, if that's what good Americans are like, I want a piece of it. I want to go over there and be a new American, an English American, or a Indian American, or whatever my background is. I want to be like a new American over there. I'll still be in the race I am, and then end up being able to bask in that glory, be able to bask in that love. And I thought that was real touching, because but I really don't know if they grasp the religious part of America. I don't know if they understood that in America, Christians take God seriously. But then there's a sector of the Christian faith in America that says Christianity is important, but we don't take God as seriously as we should. So it goes both ways. But they have to come over here and because they feel they have to. But when they do, they need to learn that our background is like this. I don't care about nothing, but I don't put a label on me because I don't know what I am. And then there's the ones that say, I don't care about nothing, and my label is atheism. And then I'm a Christian, and that's my label because I love God and Jesus, and I respect everything to do with Christianity. And then there's those that their label is Christianity, but they're like the lax Christian. They don't have a strong belief in certain forms of Christianity, but other things they do. Like they don't believe in, maybe they believe in God, but not as strongly as the other type of Christian did. But these Christians, these relaxed Christians, as you want to call them, especially in America, a lot of us, I say us, I don't mean I am, I'm talking about Americans. A lot of the relaxed Christian Americans, I call them relaxed Christians because they have a desire to be a Christian and they want to be everything a Christian is, but they don't love God as much as they should because they do things that dishonor God and they don't respect God. And that's not what God said. God did not say that you're supposed to disrespect every human being in the world, but you're not supposed to give them a form of respect that lets them know you're weak and that you are like a door that's open and your door is opening them to your whole entire life. No, there are people out there. You have to tell them, we can be friends, but we can't be the kind of friends that make you feel like you can just come into my life when you feel like it and come out when you feel like it without even asking me, can you be in my life at that point? I mean, there might be times I'm doing something in my life that you're not a part of, but you want to be without my permission. And that's not the thing I'm about. I'm not like that. I believe that God told me that, yes, you got to watch out for people in this world. And there will be people in this world that will turn on you. If they don't turn on you, they'll get to the point where they will say, what is wrong with these people? God's going to look at people and look at them like, well, what's wrong with these people? I told them what to do and not do. And they're still wanting to be these kind of jerks and they want to be these kind of people. God wouldn't call you a jerk, but God would say that there's no need in you doing some of the things you do to other people if you're doing something you're not supposed to. Because he said, be good to people. Honor these people. Love these people. But don't let them trample on you and make you feel like they're taking advantage of your kindness and expect it to be like weakness. Because God said, if you love him and if you love what he stands for, don't play head game. Don't sit there and act like, okay, well, Joe Smith is acting like, okay, Joe Smith is wanting to be your friend. And you want to be Joe Smith's friend too. But then you find out as time goes on, Joe Smith is abusing his friendship with you to take it to the level of, well, if you're my friend and we're supposed to be friends and everything, and that means that Joe thinks he can do what he wants in your life and come in and out of your life when he wants without permission. And you're sitting there like, I'm doing this and that right now, and he just comes in and out of my life right in the middle of what I'm doing without even asking me, is it appropriate to do it at that time? Because it's my life. I should be able to open and close the door to people, with my life. It's like, okay, say you got a trailer and you rent out your trailer, and say that somebody thinks that you'll rent out your trailer to them no matter what in this world. So they don't ask questions as to, can I rent the trailer? They'll ask you questions like, how much is this and this and that. Now, just go into the questions as though they're eligible for that trailer to rent it, but then it's like, all right, like that trailer story I just said. Okay, say you own a trailer, and that trailer that you own, it has a rental agreement on it. Like you rent it out to people, and it's your trailer. So say that somebody comes up to you and acts just like they're going to ask you the questions that people would ask once they know they're eligible to rent the trailer. Like, okay, I qualify to rent the trailer. Well, wait a minute. Don't go into the mode of you've already found out you can rent that trailer, so now you're asking the question